Good morning, student. So, in our English, we are doing Unit 4. In that, the ashes that made trees blossom is going on. So, in our previous period, we completed up to page 56, up to the last line of the given paragraph. A pile of gold gleamed before him. So now in this period, moving on further with the explanation portion of this chapter. So let's start. Thus, in an hour, the old couple were made rich. The good souls bought a piece of land, made a feast for their friends, and gave plentifully to their poor neighbors. As for the dog, they patted, that is, keep him, till they nearly smothered him with kindness. Smothered, that is, cooked in covered container. Smothered. I have written here in my textbook. You people note it down. So, after getting the gold, the old couple became rich. In an hour, they bought a piece of land, made a feast for their friends, gave plentifully to their poor neighbors. So the old couple was kind hearted. Now, in the same village, there lived a wicked old man. Wicked, that means bad, old man and his wife. Not a bit sensitive and kind, who had always kicked and scolded all dogs whenever any passed their house. Hearing of their neighbors' good luck, they coaxed meaning is given in our textbook, persuaded, enticed, coaxed the dog into their garden and set before him bits of fish and other dainties, that is tasty food, hoping he would find treasure for them. But the dog, being afraid of the cruel pair, would neither eat nor move. So now in the same village there lived a wicked old man, and his wife was a cruel couple, not kind or sensitive, always scolded the dogs around, and on hearing their neighbors' good luck, they coaxed the dog into their garden. They kept a lot of tasty food in front of the dog, but the dog neither ate nor moved. So, coaxed, it means persuaded and teased. Now, then they dragged means to pull, dragged him out of doors, taking a spade and hoe with them. No sooner had the dog got near a pine tree growing in the garden than he began to puff and scratch the ground as if he if a mighty treasure lay beneath. So, the wicked couple repeats the whole scenario, taking with them a spade and hoe. Hoe, that means a long handled gardening tool with a thin metal. So now they also repeating the whole scenario, taking with them a spade and hoe. Dog starts to paw and scratch the ground near a pine tree. The greedy couple started dancing out of joy. Then they began to dig. Came out was a dead kitten, and a bad smell covered the whole area. So they were not found any gold inside it. So, as we read it before about a kind old couple, so as they are kind and not expecting such gold, they will found it because they are not greedy. But this wicked old couple was greedy, so couldn't find gold. Quick, wife, hand me the spade and hoe, cried the greedy old fool as he danced with joy. Then the covetous old fellow with a spade and the old crone with a hoe began to dig, but there was nothing but a dead kitten, the smell of which made them drop their tools and shut their noses. Furious and the dog, the old man kicked and bit him to death, and the old woman finished the work by nearly chopping his head with the sharp hoe. They then flung them into the hole and heaped the earth over his carcass. So here, covetous, that means greedy, cron, it means old, woman, old man's wife, flung means threw, and carcass, that means dead body. So as they not finding any gold, so they now become very angry on dog and start beating the dog. So they both become very angry. The farmer was just beating the dog, and his wife was chopped the head with the hoe. So it is too cruel. They thrown the dead body into the hole and covered with earth. The owner of the dog heard of the death of his pet, and mourning of him as if he had been his own child, went at night under the pine tree. So here mourning, it means feel sorrow. So set up some bamboo tubes in the ground, such as are used before tombs, in which he put fresh flowers. Then he laid a cup of water and a tray of food on the grave, and burned several costly sticks of incense. He moaned a great while over his pet, calling him many dear names as if he were alive. Now, the owner at dog mounds when he comes to know about the death of his pet, sets up bamboo tubes in the ground, put fresh flowers, and old man let a cup of water, tray of food on the grave, and burned several sticks of incense. He mounted a crate while over his pet, so he shows his love for his pet dog, and he was very sad for his dog. So mount, that means feel or show sorrow for the death of someone. Here, tomb, it means a large vault or typically an underground one for burying the dead. Now, that night, the spirit of the dog appeared to him in a dream and said, "Cut down the pine tree over my grave and make from it a mortar for your rice pastry and a meal for your bean sauce." So, mortar, it means bowl. The dog appears to the old man in his dream and asks him to cut down the pine tree and make from it a mortar for rice pastry and meal for bean sauce. So the old man chopped down the tree and cut out of the middle of the trunk a section about 2 feet long with great labor, partly by fire, partly by the chisel. He scraped out a hollow place as big as a small bowl. He then made a long handled hammer of wood, such as is used for pounding. Pounding means crushing, or we can say grinding. When New Year's time drew near, he wished to make some rice pastry. When the rice was all boiled, Granny put it into the mortar. The old man lifted his hammer to pound the mass into dough, and the blows fell heavy and fast till the pastry was all ready for baking. Suddenly, the whole mass turned, took the handmill, and filling it with beans, began to grind. The gold dropped like rain. Meanwhile, the envious, that is, jealous neighbor peeped in at the window when the boiled beans were being ground. "Goody me!" cried the old hag, that is, woman, as she saw each dripping of sauce turning into yellow gold. until in a few minutes the tub under the mill was full of shining mass of gold. So the old man thinks nothing, and the old man just obey what was the dog said to him in his dream. The old man does the same, chop down the tree with great labor. New Year's time drew near. He wished to make rice pastry. Rice was boiled and put it into his mortar. The old man lifted his hammer to pound the mass into dough. Suddenly, whole mass turned into a heap of gold coins. The old woman fills the handmill with beans to grind. As she grinded, the gold dropped like rain. So again they were getting gold. So the old couple were rich again the next day, and stingy and wicked neighbor came and borrowed the mortar and magic mill. They filled one with boiled rice and the other with beans, that seeds. Then the old man began to pound and woman to grind, but at the first blow and turn, the pastry and sauce turned into foul mass of worms. Still more angry at this, they chopped the mill into pieces to use as firewood. So the next day, the wicked neighbor came and borrowed the mortar and magic mill. They filled it with the boiled rice and beans. As they grinded it on the first blow and turn, pastry sauce turned into foul mass of worms. So, why this happened? Because this wicked old couple was greedy and bad. So, again, more angry at this, they cut the meal into pieces to use as firewood. So, foul in this paragraph, it means especially through having a disgusting smell or taste or being dirty, and worms, that means any of a number of a creeping or a burrowing invertebrate animals with long, slender, soft bodies and no limbs. So, student, here first part of this story is complete. So I stop here. Now further second part will be continue in the next video. So you people just read out whatever we just now completed in this period. Just read out once. We will meet in the next video. Till then, take care of yourself. Stay at your home. Stay safe. Do a little bit study. We will meet in the next video. Thank you. Goodbye.